year's shed. Now, as much as I'd love to give a tour to you right now of the new place, there's one thing I want to do first, and that's to finish off getting the concrete slab ready. And because of the drying time, the curing time is about 3 days for this particular product. The sooner I get it down, the sooner I can actually get onto moving tools and things into the shed. So I'm going to wait till we give you the tour. I'm just going to jump into actually finishing off the surfacing of this floor first. Now the floor, as far as the preparation I've done, and again, if you've been following the blog, you would have seen it already, that after it's been laid and was given a really good helicoptering by the concreter, it was almost too good. The water penetration, where you just put a drip of water onto the floor, and actually sat on the surface a bit more than what you'd want if you're going to apply a product that needed to bond to that surface. So the first step is I went down to the local hardware shop and I bought 5 litres of hydrochloric acid. That was diluted down 1 to 10. Now, I don't know what the concentration of the acid was in the first place. It certainly wasn't like full strength acid, because you just can't buy that over the shelf. Certainly not in a hardware shop. The product I'm going to use is Shieldcrete. Now this comes from Glowback Wood Care, and you'll see the link on my website, on the blog. It's a 2-part epoxy. Comes in 2 separate tins. There's both of them up. So they're the 2 tins that it comes in, inside one of these packs here. And literally we pour the contents of the smaller tin into the larger one and mix it up. And it just gets rolled onto the floor. And then in the pack of the Shieldcrete, it comes with a cleaner and degreaser packet, and that was added to a bucket of water, and then again that was scrubbed over the whole surface, and then that was hosed off. Now, after hosing it off, I've then taken a broom, swept to clean the surface water off. And then I've actually taken my garden blower and again used the blower as a broom and blew all the surface water out, and particularly getting the water out of the expansion joints here, because otherwise it just sits in there for days. So that's pretty much the prep that I've done. I gave it another quick blow with the blower today, just to make sure there wasn't any dust or anything that's come down overnight and sat on the floor. So the concrete's ready to go. The other thing that comes in the kit, and I've added extra to it, is the Deco flake. So these are a vinyl paint chip. And what I've done is I've actually taken all the vinyl paint chips that I've got, including the extra pack that I have as well. I've weighed all that up, and I've worked out just how much would go into each area. And again, you see on the blog, there's a photo of my little graph that worked out just how much weight would go into each section. And the section back there is going to take about 400 grams. These two sections here about 350, and these two smaller sections behind me will take 240 grams of the paint chips each. That gives me around about 50% coverage, which is a quite a generous coverage of these paint chips. Just bring them over so you can see what they, get a little bit more of an idea of what they look like. Now it's just this small, about 3 to 5 mil diameter paint chip, and I've bagged them up in 5 bags, one for each area of the workshop. And that's just basically to make sure that I've got sufficient and an even coverage. Now, as far as applying this, and you'll see that later on, you actually just throw it up in the air. So I'm not looking to try and get a uniform pattern per se. I wouldn't be laying down a grid or anything like that. But I just wanted to make sure that if there was 50% coverage in one section where I started, that I had enough paint chips left to give a good 50% coverage to the final section. So that's why I've taken a little bit more care with actually sorting all this out, rather than just going on a hope that I have enough by the end type concept. Right, that's about it. Oh, no, not quite it. The last thing is, once the surface is cured, or started to cure, at least to the point where I can walk on it, we've also got this the Shieldcrete glaze, and that will go over the top. There's a few benefits to that. One of them is it really seals the surface and seals the paint chips in. Obviously that being a pretty good thing. It's a gloss finish. It's going to make the floor look even better. And there is, again, in the actual epoxy pack, a pack of non-skid adhesive, and that will get mixed into the glaze, so that there won't be as slippery a surface as what it would have been otherwise. So that's pretty much where we're at right now. I've got all my materials, I've got my rollers, I've got my brush for cutting in around the sides and around the various posts. I've just got a couple of, in this case, 12 mil nap rollers for smooth and semi-smooth surfaces, which is pretty appropriate for this. The glaze will actually be added with a 6 mil nap roller for a smoother finish. And I've just got a handle and my roller, and I'm good to go. So the interesting thing is, once I start, there's no stopping this stuff. It's not like paint. I can't just put the cap back on. It is an epoxy, and I've got basically a 2-hour working time from once I mix the two together. And the pack even comes with this stirring rod. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. Oh, that's thick as. Now they say to give it a good 3-minute stir once the two are mixed together. I can see why. This is just very, very thick. Okay. Moment of truth. Let's mix these together. Alright, let's mix these together. Seems to be going together pretty easily, maybe a bit easier than I was expecting, given how thick that part A was. this. So, based on my practice the other day, just taking a small handful and we're just going to roll it into the air. So we're out here again after yesterday's efforts, and the place is looking pretty spectacular with the new coating. Although it's only been 24 hours or so, the surface is certainly dry enough to walk on, which means it's now able to have the glaze added as well. It'll still be at least another couple of days before it's actually up to hardness, certain enough to drive across. Not that I'm intending to drive across it. But if you consider the weight of a vehicle and the potential pickup from tyres and things like that, and compare that to a weight of like the thickness there at 250 kilograms on some really relatively small wheels in comparison, I was sort of thinking the load rating would be that it's worth giving it those few extra days to let it get up to hardness. I was just cleaning off the tray from the roller yesterday, and obviously got some pretty good sheets of the epoxy that came off, and it really gives you an idea of what this has done as a floor coating. And it's got quite a lot of give. It's quite flexible. It's certainly quite tough. I mean, I wouldn't, as far as the floor coating is concerned, and don't forget this is completely unsupported, whereas on the floor it's attached over the entire surface to the floor. So that's a really nice durable surface, and it's got a lot of stretch in it, a lot of give. So yeah, it really gave me an idea of what we've actually applied to the floor here, as far as a protective surface, as far as a surface that has sealed the concrete. Let alone the aesthetics of it. It certainly looks a lot better than concrete ever could otherwise. So what I'll do now is I'll kick into laying down the layer of glaze just on the top surface, and then in a couple of days' time this shed will be ready for us to start moving tools in, and that will certainly be an interesting day.